My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Piranha 3D, and this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I'm oddly nostalgic for this movie because I remember watching it in late 2010 or early 2011, and this was the first movie with lots of nudity and blood that I watched, and I just thought this movie was awesome. And I just rewatched it for the first time in over a decade, and this movie is still awesome. I love it. It deserves more praise than it actually gets. But let's begin talking about the cast. And Elizabeth Shue, I think, does a real good job. She can be sympathetic, but she can also be a real badass, and she does everything she needs to perfectly. You've also got Jerry O'Connell, who is so over the top, and he pretends to be nice, but he's actually a huge douchebag, and he just plays it ever so perfectly. He brings plenty of personality to this movie. You've also got Ving Rhames, who I think does a perfectly fine job. You've got Stephen R. McQueen, who's a very likable and relatable lead character. He does everything he needs to perfectly. Jessica Chazelle, I think, is also very likable. She's very charming and just I liked what she brought to this movie. Kelly Brook does a perfectly fine job. Adam Scott is a bit of a badass here, and I thought he did great. Brooklyn Prox and Sage Ryan do perfectly fine, and even though they don't have much to do, it's still nice to see Christopher Lloyd and Richard Dreyfuss in this movie. Just nice to see them again. But the reason why I love this movie so much is just how over the top it is. You know what this movie actually reminds me of? The 1993 Peter Jackson movie Braindead, which is one of my favorite movies of all time because that movie is disgusting and just gruesome, but it's so over the top to the point where it becomes comedic, and this movie is able to do the same thing. Like, this movie can be really horrific and gruesome and bloody when needed. Like, there was a scene where this one girl gets her hair stuck in a propeller and her entire scalp comes right off. There's one scene where two people are carrying a body onto shore and it just falls apart. There's one scene where the entire bottom half of a dude gets eaten to the point where it's just bone. Like, this movie delivers on the carnage, no doubt. The practical effects look absolutely phenomenal, really impressive work, and this movie can be tense when needed. Everything at the end with Kelly stuck on the boat is really, your palms are sweaty, mom spaghetti. It's great stuff. But what I also love so much about this movie is that it can be so over the top to the point where it just becomes absolutely hilarious. There is one scene of this douchebag on a boat, and he's just trying to escape, and he's killing so many people in the meantime, and it's just so over the top that you can't help but laugh. There's a scene where this one dude tries to protect a girl, and he gets smacked by a boat, and that's a real great scene. Like, this movie is just excessive to the point where it's really funny at moments. And like there's even some of the non-bloody stuff cracks me up. Like, there's a part of the plot where the main character is supposed to be babysitting his siblings, and they accidentally get stuck on an island, and I'm just laughing hysterically like, how did we get to this point? It's just great. um I also like how trashy this movie can be. Like, it leans into that aspect as much as possible. So like, this movie's just incredibly well directed by Alexandra Aja. It's just tonally perfect where it delivers on the horror, it delivers on the comedy, and it delivers on the horror comedy. It's just exactly what this movie needed to be. And like, even the CGI is complete shit, but I can't even be mad because it just fits this movie's tone so perfectly. So I just have a real blast with it. My only real issue is that you get all this blood filled carnage on the beach, and then for the end of the movie, it's a rescue mission on the boat. And like I said, it's still tense, it's still exciting, but it still feels like a dip in quality. You know, it doesn't feel as good as what we got before. So the movie doesn't quite peak at the end, but I still have a great time. This movie is bloody, it's messed up, it's disturbing, it's also over the top, excessive, hilarious, and just really delivers. I love this movie, so I'm giving Piranha 3D an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Piranha 3D? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.